Hey y'all, good evening. So tonight I'm going to kind of work my way through some of the awesome goodies that Faber-Castell sent me a couple of months ago. What you guys see here are the things I want to hit first. We're going to take a look at the Faber-Castell Fizzy paints, the additional Fizzy paint set, their watercolor paper, and their watercolor brushes, but I have loads more awesome stuff. And Joseph has so very kindly offered to be the official bag boy, and that means he is going to dig in the bag and hand me random art supplies from it. Hey Tali, hey Jill, good evening. He's gonna hand me random art supplies from it as we work through our evening. But yeah, I'm excited about the Fizzy paint, and there's something even, I don't want to say even cooler, but it's pretty close to even cooler than the Fizzy paint, but this is really exciting. But I have some business I have to do first. I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Bela for their support over the years. Bela, if you're watching tonight, this one goes out to you. I also want to give a big thank you to Feather for the awesome guest comic that she sent me. It's 10 pages of super cute Lilliputian art, and y'all can check out the cover and the first page at 7inchcarat.tumblr.com. And of course, if you like what I do and you want to help me continue to do it, the best way that you can help me out is by joining the Art Nerd community over on Patreon. I have all sorts of cool early access stuff like these little sneak peeks here. I've been doing a lot of Copic marker stuff, so if Copics are your jam, this is the place for you. I would be remiss if I didn't plug 7-Inch Carat, my webcomic, and you guys can see Feather's super adorable guest comic here. This is the first page from it, and you guys can check that out at 7inchcarat.tumblr.com. And then finally, the veritable Natto Soup art and process blog, my 10-year-old baby. And it is also full of really good art, comic, and watercolor tutorials. I highly recommend you guys check out my watercolor basics series. As you guys can see, it's full of great content. And then I also have an intro to comic craft series that you guys might enjoy. So with our wonderful plugs handled, let's go ahead and dive in to the Faber-Castell Fizzy paint. So it says project ideas included online. It is produced by Faber-Castell. It is their red labeling, which is typically aimed at younger artists. As you can see, this looks really fun and inviting, lots of bright colors, maybe even a little bit of science going on. So do art, add water, watch and fizz, mix new colors, paint and display. And there's one set here, and it is for ages 8 and up. I think we're 8 and up. Hey B, good evening. So inside this set, we receive some of their double-ended markers. We receive at least one paintbrush, and I think I see a pencil way up there. We receive 2 crayons, a spray bottle, a dropper, a little bitty super cute mortar and pestle. We receive yellow, red, and blue tablets, as well as little paint pots. Oh man, they sent all kinds of good stuff. I can't wait to show it to you guys. So what's inside this kit? We received 75 Fizzy paint tablets, 3 duo-tip markers, so 6 colors total, a ceramic mortar and wooden pestle, 2 wax crayons, 2 paintbrushes, 1 spray bottle, 1 water dropper, 6 clear plastic containers, 15 sheets of art paper, 10 sheets of watercolor paper, 3 cardboard frames, double-sided sticky foam, clear plastic hang tags, and instructions. And then they also have the Fizzy paint watercolor tablets refill, which I actually have right here, and it includes yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, and green, and it's perfect to use with the tools and supplies in this kit. And they suggest that we visit them at greatartstartshere.com. It is non-toxic and safe for children. So I've never done this kit before, so I'm kind of eager to dive in. I brought it with me to Louisiana. That's why the box looks all beaten up, because I thought I'd have time to do it with my mom, and we were just really busy with classes and stuff, so I never got a chance to explore it. That's okay. I get to do it with you guys. Hey, Terry. Good evening. Ooh. It wants to be stuck. Let's try pulling this stuff out first. There we go. Okay. And that is it for the box. So I will put that off to the side. Not sure yet what this is about. So here we have our instructional booklet. Hey Terry, hey Nisa. Move that over so y'all can see what I've got going on. Put this over to the side. And what I'm going to try to do is, for any of these things, I'm going to try to keep them in pretty decent condition because I'm going to try to rehome everything that I can't home. So this is more of our chance to unbox, swatch, and talk about it, and then try to find new homes for these things. So this is the informational packet. Fizzy Paint, mix and makes watercolors. Did you know that painting has been around? Wow. Yes, oh wow. Okay, I got this. I'm an adult. I can do this. Did you know that painting has been around for a very long time? Evidence of painting has been found from thousands of years ago. The oldest paintings have been found across the world in numerous caves. People would grind up different colors of dirt and minerals from the earth and paint with them. Most paint is made from just a few materials. A pigment which gives the... Wait, let me find it again. Sorry. A pigment which gives paint color, a binder which holds the color to the surface being painted, any additives. Wow, they throw additives in there real quick, but they don't say what additives are. Any additives that may enhance the paint consistency, and a solvent which is used to thin the paint and apply to a surface. In this kit, you'll have an opportunity to create your own paint and colors using our special fizzy paints. Have you ever seen paint bubble and fizz? Just add water to these fizzy paint tablets and see what happens. And then big old caution, do not eat the paint tablets. Important information about, but I thought they were non-toxic. Please do not eat paint. Important information about the paint tablets. The paint tablets included are non-toxic watercolor paints that may stain porous surfaces or textiles, so be careful. Cover your work surface and wear a smock or old clothes. Clean up any spills immediately while the paint is still wet. Have paper and paper towels handy for cleaning and drying your brush. Have water, which I do have water and paper towels handy. Actually, this is a Faber-Castell cup that I've had for several years. Just doing the Faber-Castell theme tonight. Hey Tanner, good evening. Well, these are kids' grade watercolors and they're dye-based, so you will need to select a work area where your project can dry undisturbed for several hours or overnight. That is gonna be like a hard thing to do here. Okay, so fizzy paints. Fizzy paints are small, solid tablets of color. When water is added, they start to bubble and fizz. Although the tablet may look purple, when you add water, it will turn red. The orange will turn yellow, and the blue will stay blue. Sorry. Paper. We've included 2 types of paper for you to try out, watercolor paper and art paper. Try them both out for different results. Watercolor paper has a bumpy texture and will absorb your paint a little more than the art paper. Art paper has a smooth surface and allows your paint to move and run freely. Actually, I'm giggling at this, but I think this would be a really good kit for little kids. Like, this is 100% a step up from Crayola. It's still really fun. There's kind of like a sciencey aspect of like grinding your own pigments and using an eyedropper. Like, I think this is a really accessible, fun little kit so far. So mortar and pestle, and I would have been all about this tiny, cute mortar and pestle. Yeah, it is. It is a good intro for someone who doesn't know anything about painting. Like, they're giving us a nice little overview. They're talking about the different papers. Like, it's very accessible, which is nice. Like, I don't think there's a lot of art supplies for kids on the market that treat them like they're intelligent. That's harsher than what I wanted. Crayola is really fun. I'm not dumping on Crayola, but I feel like this is like also really good. Mortar and pestle. Use these to crush and grind your fizzy paints into powder. Place a fizzy paint tablet in the mortar, small bowl, and use the pestle to crush and turn it into powder. If you're not mixing the tablets, if you're not mixing the tablets to make a new color, be sure to clean out the mortar before crushing a different tablet color. And then they have the color wheel and instructions. Yeah, they had. Look, when I first saw this kit, I was so excited about it because like the fizzy aspect is like, oh, that's really cool. Cover your work surface with white paper so you can see the colors you're creating. You will also need, because these are clear. Ah, okay, smart. You'll also need a cup of clean water handy for cleaning your water dropper before using it with a different color. And I like that they're actually walking us through like good maintenance and good color accuracy. Yep, these are the fizzy watercolors. Fill your plastic containers with clean water about 3/4 of the way full. Add fizzy paint tablets to your containers following the color mixing guide to the right. Use the dropper to add the drops of color indicated. Remember to clean it before picking a new color. I need a real child here because I got lost and maybe they could explain it to me. I might make you come over and explain it. Okay, thanks for the warning, Tyra. I'll keep that. I kind of figured they were gonna be like, whoa, color. Keep your colors safe by placing the lids on, or try creating your own mixtures for new colors. And then they included a cute little spritz bottle. Use the water spritzer to wet your paper, then add the powdered fizz. Oh yeah, y'all know what I'm gonna do. The powdered fizzy paint or a fizzy paint tablet to the surface. Watch it fizz and spread over your paper. Try adding a fizzy paint tablet or two into the water spritzer container. Spray your paper with the colored water. And then they have a color mixing guide here. So they have the primary colors, how many tablets that would take, the secondary colors, how many colors that would take, and the tertiary colors, how many tablets that would take. And then on the back, drips and drops. Place fizzy tablets on your paper. Using the water dropper, drip a few drops of water onto the tablets. Use your paintbrush to grab color from the tablets and make designs with your colors. Kind of like that. Oh, that's kind of neat. And then they also have designs. Use your white crayon to draw on the paper. Wherever you draw will protect the paper from your paint. This is called a resist. After drawing, spritz your paper with water, then add fizzy paint powder. When dry, add more designs and drawing with the markers or black crayon. Finishing. When your art is complete and fully dry, place a sticky square on the corner of each end of your paper. Hold a frame over the art and place it on top of the sticky squares where it looks centered. Flip it over and place a plastic hanger on the back, in the center of the top of your art so it's able to hang. Enjoy this unique and fun way to mix and make color. So this is really cute. So we have our little foamy squares. We have our little hangers, which are kind of like sales hangers. But like, kid me would be super excited about this. I know that, Jill, that's exactly what I really like about this. Like, it's fun, it's very hands-on, it's a little bit sciencey, it's still really arty, but it's really tactile. And I think art projects for kids are often not tactile enough. So this could be really great for kids who need like a tactile learning experience. So I'm going to actually use the back of this, and we're also going to use these watercolor brushes, these soft touch watercolor brushes that Faber-Castell sent me. And these, let's see if I can find it. Okay. Sturdy, soft synthetic hair, cushion foam grip area for a good hold while painting. Good color coverage. Ideal set for school and leisure. Rinse brush after painting. And we get a 12, a 10, a 6, and a 2. Yeah. I feel like with this, if I was doing this with a kid, and I would have really liked to have borrowed somebody's kid because it would have been really fun to be able to do this with like a real kid and see how they react and whether or not this is fun for them and whether or not they have the patience for it. It kind of reminds me of those Klutz craft kits that would be like, you know, make a friendship bracelet or like make clay food. Like they still make it. I think Scholastic owns Klutz now. So I have watercolor paper. I have more Fizzy tablets, but I'm going to put these to the side for now because I feel like we've got kind of a lot going on with this. Okay, so this I think is their watercolor paper because it's got the real, not one of them fake. Well, I'm a fake kid. I've never grown up. No, I'm a fake kid. I'm a 33-year-old fake kid. And then this is the art paper. Okay, you might be right. And this is their art paper. It's okay. Like, this is very much kid grade stuff, but I'm like trying to also get myself into like 9-year-old, 10-year-old Little Beck mental state. And then these are the frames. The frames are pretty cute. I like that the paper's pre-cut as well. Okay, these are the goodies. So I'm gonna take a minute just to kind of get, I like how this is laid out. I like that you could, if you wanted to, pop it all back in. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't take the opportunity to include the grippy foam brushes. I mean, the brushes they included seem okay. You get a very, well, they're small, that's the thing. Oh, okay. Like, maybe if they'd included a larger flat and a larger round, just because like one of the first things I think people should learn about watercolor is that you should work with the largest brush you're comfortable with. That is the best way to prevent muddy everything. Yeah, this is definitely, wow, this is a triangular brush. You probably can you eat the tablets? It says don't, but they're non-toxic, but I'm not gonna eat one. This is the fun part, watching somebody struggle with the packaging for like 10 minutes. Yeah, it's true, actually. That would be a good point. So if you're a parent or an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, whatever, you buy this set for a kid in your life, you need to do this set with them. Or at least be around, because like there's a lot of instructions. And I mean, I feel like once we get going, it'll make sense. But if you've never done watercolor before, just the notion of like mixing. Did y'all see that? My mic went swoosh. Okay. Oh my god. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's not as far down under my art desk. I was like, oh no, it's gone forever. So this is actual ceramic, which is neat. This is wood. See, I would have been in it just for the mortar and pestle as a kid. I was super weird. Like, I would have like ignored all the cool color stuff because my parents didn't really do crafts with me. This I don't like. I don't like how this is like so adhered to the packaging I can't get it out. This one came out, but the blue doesn't want to go anywhere. Also, something a thing to think about improving in the future potentially is seriously, y'all, is have these as resealable zip bags, because they're just little cut top bags. These are well made though. I thought these, I would assume so because they're fizzy, so I'm assuming they have carbon dioxide or maybe baking soda. Like, I assume there's something that's the same pop rock reaction. Speaking of I don't know if you guys are into Bon Appetit, but the whole like Claire Makes series where she tries to make, trying so hard here. She tries to make gourmet candy based off of real candy. Like, she has a pop rock episode. That's what made me think of this. Pop rocks are apparently very hard to make. So I'm getting these things out. They're actually pretty hard to get out. So you need to push the bottom to pop them back out. And I'm going to hold on to all the packaging because this is a set I think I'm going to rehome to someone young who will really, really, really enjoy it after we've taken a look at it. I don't know, Joseph, do you know any youngins who might like this set? It says 8, but I bet if you were a parent and you were keeping an eagle eye on your kid, you could go younger than that, like 5. It's supposed to have somebody at the top of your head. Oh, cool. Claire has kind of become my fandom. Not like you can't also enjoy that, Easton. That's not what I'm saying. But like we will like avidly watch her. Like we will stop doing other things we're doing to watch Claire make things, which is unusual. All right. Here's our color wheel. So it says we've got our plastic containers. How many do we have? It looks like we have 9 total plastic containers. Oh wait. They have 12 colors here, but we have 9 little pots. I actually have some more pots, so I will go grab them. Found some more. These are my little pots that I use with my inking class, but they'll be fine for today. Because I think I want to try making all of these colors using the mixes that they recommend. So it says to fill your plastic containers with clean water about 3/4 of the way. And oh, this is a nice little, like, decently made little eyedropper. Like, you guys see me use eyedroppers on this channel all the time, and I use the really cheap plastic ones, but that's like a nice, okay, yeah. First I was like, oh, it's not holding water. Nope, it's okay. 3/4 of the way. It's gonna take forever. I also like how analytical Claire is and how she really puts forth an effort to try to accurately recreate the product and figure out what it is that makes the product distinctive versus like what is this commercial grade manufacturing. The Twix episode I thought was really good, but I think maybe one of my favorites is the Oreo episode, just because I really like Oreos and it sounds like her Oreos turned out better. Okay, so that's 3/4 of the way full. I did pour it. Right, so, oh, Ego. I don't know who you're talking about. So I realized it might be easier and quicker and less boring if we just filled these using the little spray bottle as a container. We'll find out. Science. Oh yeah, it's so much faster. You could probably fill them at the tap too, but if you've got an afternoon to kill, by all means use the eyedropper. It's like the perfect way to kill 30 minutes. Oh, that's, oh, ooh, I want to see it. I want to see it, Tyra. You'd posted a work in progress a while back. I thought it was just the cutest thing. Yes, I am pretty sure this here is for kiddos. It does say though for ages 8 and up, so if you are a child at heart, it could be for you. So I started teaching at Plaza this spring. I teach marker classes and comic classes right now. And the owner, or the manager, sorry, is a super nice guy. And he put me in contact with Faber-Castell. And they were like, do you want us to send you some stuff? And I was like, yeah, sure, thinking it was going to be like, you know, one thing. And they send this huge box of stuff. So I did an unboxing video where we opened the box and we took a look at everything. But this is the first chance I've had to kind of like sit down and play around with these things. And I'm gonna do them in a color wheel order in a little bit. But I think decent art supplies, especially affordable decent art supplies for all ages, is really important. I grew up in an area where it was literally just Crayola was all that was available. Have I tried the pencils yet? They have a few different pencils, and they sent me the Goldfaber pencils, and I would like to like look at those here. I've tried their polychromos, and I really like the polychromos. Give me a sec, gotta refill. So many refills. Now it doesn't say you have to use the eyedropper to fill your plastic container, so that was just me interpreting it like that. You could probably do it any way that works for you. Okay, so we have 12 tiny containers of water all across my desk. And I'm going to use this as my white surface for color mixing. Line everything up. Ooh, good to know. Yeah, I was excited when I saw that because I don't think I've tried any Faber-Castell watercolor products. And they sent me a lot of stuff for youngins, which is great, and I'm looking forward to it. But they also sent me the Goldfaber, sorry, the color pencils, and they sent the watercolor pencils, so I'm looking forward to getting to try those as well. But honestly, I'm just grateful that they sent me anything, because it gives me a chance to play around with stuff. I haven't actually seen a lot of this, but it could just be what I have access to. Okay, so we have 3 bags of paint, and be careful because they have little sticky boogers on them. And we're gonna mix the primaries first. And we're gonna do it mortar and pestle style, and I'm sure this is gonna get all over my hands and stain everything. So we're gonna start with red. It's 3 tablets. And then we gotta grind it up. Actually, well, no, you're preoccupied. Give me a sec, guys. Hey, Maddie. Hey, Nancy. Good evening, y'all. Okay, so I have little baggies here. I usually use these for packaging my charms. And I think if you're a parent buying this set, or an aunt, an uncle, grandparent, a teacher, whatever, baggies for your tablets is the way to go. And they sell little medicine baggies at like Walmart, places like that. And then we can even label them. See? I'm trying to be nice about this because after I enjoy this set, I'm gonna rehome it. So I want it in usable condition for whoever gets it next. Okay, so add fizzy paints to your containers following the color mixing guide. Use a water dropper to add drops of water indicated. Remember to clean it before picking a new color. And then we have our color mixing guide. So we're gonna... Oh, okay. This is... all right. Okay, Faber-Castell. Wow. It's wood and ceramic. Yeah, forbidden candy. Delicious, delicious Pop Rocks. JK kids, please don't eat this. I can't. Like, I'm trying really hard to grind this and I am having trouble. So I assume if I'm having trouble, like a real child would have problems. An actual, for real human child might have problems. Or they might really enjoy, don't clean it and be a rebel. Yeah, I'll end up with mud. I am definitely, I'm getting there with the red. But okay. This might be every parent's ideal art supply in that it's messy. But it takes a really long time to get, it's engaging and it's fun, but it takes a really long time to get through it. So this does not seem like one of those crafts that like you're gonna hand it to your kid, they're gonna spend 30 minutes doing it. Ish. Yeah. I mean, you know what, like halfway through some kids are gonna get tired, but something else I really like about this is that they have multiple ways to use this product. So if your kid gets tired of like grinding the adorable little mortar and pestle, then they might enjoy... Oh, it fizzes, y'all, it fizzes! Oh, it looks delicious. I shouldn't even joke. But it kind of does, y'all. Oh, and it fizzes. Get those good ASMR sounds. I'm also making, as you guys can probably see, I'm making a fair mess. I am, y'all. And then I like boom out with my loud voice. Y'all! The powder, oh, it like fizzed out and now it's on the paper. That could be neat. I want to clean this, but I want to try something in the immediate future. So I'm actually just gonna wipe this down with a paper towel because I can't really see somebody like cleaning it out super carefully every time. Yeah. Tyra also kind of warned me that it's gonna be neon, so I'm excited for it. I don't get to do too much with neon, so I'm looking forward to bright dye-based watercolors. They did warn, they did warn that these are staining as well. So this is something you're gonna wanna, proper precautions. I taught a class recently where the little girl's mom is like really, whatever. I don't have to, it won't come out. Give me a sec, guys, I'll be right back. Oh wait, there's a trash can. Try a wet brush over the fizz. So what I want to do next when we're pouring our blue, is I'm gonna put a piece of watercolor paper down and see if it'll fizz out onto it, and you can make like kind of bubbly looking things with it. Was kind of where I'm leaning next. Okay, so that is red. Next is yellow. I had a mom in one of my class say that if her daughter is going to do watercolor, she's going to have to do it in the bathtub because her daughter is messy. And y'all know I'm messy, and I was messy then too. So I'm just like, yeah, that could work. I mean, I would have done watercolor in the bathtub. Why? Oh, because of the fizz. This is a project though. Like, it's almost been an hour. This is a project. I'm not complaining because it's fun. I'm just impressed by like what a good way this is to divert an afternoon. Yeah. Oh, the grinding is the hardest part. I want to get that good fizz. Back in my day. I'm gonna make a mess because this is so hard to grind. It's gonna knock all those little waters over. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna at least cap the finished product. Should get a coffee grinder to do this. Ah. Oh my goodness, come on. I feel like an old-timey apothecary grinding up the pills to make other pills. Joseph, you're watching somebody play, what's it called? Pathologic. And in that game, and I do not recommend this and I do not endorse this, the kids steal pills from their parents' cabinets, like medicine cabinets, and they grind them up and they combine them to sell something called schmowder. And that's what I feel like I'm doing right now. I'm grinding up the schmowder. Seriously, what is with this one yellow tablet? Schmowder. Yeah, might as well. It's allowed. Okay, so this is their watercolor paper, which is really just like textured paper. We're gonna do. So it does dissolve. Actually, I may just do it like that because this grinding is, but it's way more fizzy and bubbly if you grind it first. But that's kind of for the birds. We wipe out our tiny baby apothecary set. Babies first. It does fizz like vitamin C. Like snake water. And I'll just cap it. Well, no, actually I will not cap it because I'm not grinding any more of these. Okay, like that's great if you got a kit. It does do a little bit of like a blast radius though, which is kind of neat. If you got kids to entertain for the afternoon, make them grind them. Okay, so for blue, it's 2 blue tablets. And we should start a countdown before I end up with this staining my hands. And I don't mind that. It's just, I feel like every time I deal with something dye-based, whether it's fountain pen ink or watercolors, I end up with like blue hands. In fact, I had blue on my hands yesterday because there was this tote bag that we've kept markers in, and one of the markers got uncapped at one point. Whatever, the bag had been washed. We thought it was clean. Went to the farmer's market, bought juice, and the blue from the bag leached onto my hands. Okay, there we go. 1 Pepto, 2 Pepto. Okay. So we have red, yellow, which is slowly dissolving. We might have to stir it, and blue. Making that Coca-Cola sound. I would, no, not tonight, but I would love to do natural dye stuff on the channel. I sent you to take that natural dye class while I was out of town. Okay, so now we're gonna make orange. It is one yellow. Oh, how dare you! So, y'all, we just switched our measurement system. Okay, we've got one yellow tablet and then 12 red drops. Are you laughing at this? I don't know what they're doing. I don't mind, but like they're definitely doing. Oh man, purple's gonna get funky. It's one red, one blue, one red tablet, one blue pellet, and 12 blue drops. What are blue pellets? When were pellets introduced to this system? They probably just mean a tablet. Please do not eat. They definitely look like candy. Okay, so that is yellow, and now we gotta count, y'all. Pay attention. We gotta do 12 with our little eyedropper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we got a big bubble. 11, 12. We did it, y'all. Give yourselves a big round of applause. We did it. Yeah. Hi, David. Good evening. Okay, so that is orange, and we're going to let that yellow continue to dissolve. And the blue, I don't know if y'all can see this, but it continued to have a blast radius. So you definitely, if you're doing this at home with your kids, cover the table with something. Now we're gonna do purple, which is crazy, y'all. Crazy pants over here, because it's one red tablet, one blue pellet, and then 12 blue drops. Red. This is, I'm gonna slip and eat one of these. I'm not saying this like it's a joke or like I'm glorifying it. They look a lot like candy. Yeah, duh. Yeah, I'm reading the instructions. One blue pellet. You'd think that'd be purple enough, but no, we gotta purple it on up in here with some drops. 12 blue drops. Oh no, we're talking my show. Oh, and my blue hasn't fully dissolved, so I'm gonna give it a good old stir. I was singing my favorite song earlier today. Joseph, would you link my favorite song, please? Yeah, would you? Would you? It's appropriate. We're talking about, just link it. Okay, 12 blue drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So something that would be really, really cool to see Faber-Castell do, and maybe they're doing it and I just don't know, with these fizzy paints or with any of their kids' paints, what would be super cool would be pH reactive dyes. And I know it can be done, and that would be so cool. I am making potions, tiny potions. Okay, so that's purple, the perps, and now we're gonna do green. And green is crazy because it's one yellow tablet and then 30 blue drops. All crazy town. I want to know what the conversion ratio to from tablets to drops is. Yellow. Get to it. Oh no, because they'd have to be doing it themselves. Okay, now we got to do 30. We're going to use up all our blue on making green. 1, 2, 3. Come on, come on, come on. 4, 5, 6. This is when we time lapse this. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Thank you, Kat. 28, 29, 30. I feel like I deserve like a big old prize. It's green though. I mean, like, obviously green. Yellow is green. Okay. We've done the primary. We've done the secondary. We're on to the tertiary colors. Are y'all ready? Are y'all feeling it? It actually is no more difficult. All right, that's fine with me. Red, orange. 1 yellow, 1 red. Nancy's got this figured out. Nancy's gonna have like the ratio by the time we're done with this video. Like, all right, it's half a quarter of a pill plus a whole pill. All right, so red orange is 1 red, 1 yellow. Let that fizz over there. Fizz it down. Next is red violet, which is 1 red, 1 blue. Wish I had like a handy cam so you guys could see. The colors are actually really pretty. Maybe I will. I know I do. I just don't know if I want to like set it up. But I feel like for this, it would be worth it. But what I might do is something even cheaper. Okay, so that was red violet. Next is teal. Teal is 1 yellow, 1 blue, and then 15 drops of blue. 1 yellow, 1 blue, should have thought of this first. Yeah, and it magnified it slightly. And then 15 drops of blue. So we're doing that one. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We'll have 1 more, why not? For good luck. Yeah. I'm really glad these little cups cap, because if I was a kid or a parent, I would also lose. Just like having. Okay, lime time. Wow, and this one's spicy. It's 1 yellow and 4 drops of blue. It's just neat because it magnifies it for you guys. And what, 4 drops of blue? Who knew blue was so popular? Oh, 5. Didn't go bad. Yeah, you know, I maybe should be wearing gloves just because I have a tendency to stain. Ah. Next is blue violet. 12 reds. It's actually kind of fun, but it takes so long to get the colors made up. Maybe if you had multiple kids and you could like divide it up between them. Okay, lastly is yellow orange. So it's 1 yellow and 4 drops of red. And just a reminder, clean out your eyedropper in between dropping. Stir up that sediment. It's definitely gritty down on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 13, wait, math time. We have many colors mixed. Don't judge me. So those are the official, their little color mixes. I'll let those kind of percolate. So that was done with just yellow, red, and blue, and that's pretty impressive. I am impressed. Color me impressed, y'all. Okay, so I have this refill pack, which has yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, and green. So orange, purple, and green are already pre-mixed. Let's take a look at this. Unfortunately, they use little tape sphericals, tape circles on the edges, so you are either going to need nails or a cutting instrument of mass destruction. And inside we have a dense little packet. I would say this set is not designed to be used on its own. These are still not resealable bags. They're also not labeled. Come on, Faber-Castell. So here's yellow, I think, but it looks more green than anything. Look, there's like, it's like Brusho where there's like bits of other colors in this. Let me double check. No, it doesn't really look a lot like those. That's all right. We're gonna test them anyway. It's fine. We'll figure it out. That's another kind of downside with this, is it makes a lot of mess. Like there's a lot of small, not reusable baggies. I assume this is orange. This must be red. This is probably purple. Cutting so many tiny baggies and pouring so many little pellets into bags, and then I'm going to label all my little baggies, and it's definitely an experience. So my mom is a huge believer in vitamins, and I mean lots and lots and lots of vitamins, and every morning every evening, she divvies out the vitamins for herself, my aunt who lives with her, and my brother. And this, guess I'm just preparing for like when I'm my mom's age and I'm just divvying out a bunch of vitamins between my family members. Joseph, are you ready to take a bunch of vitamins? You sure? I've got blue, I've got green, I've got purple, red, orange, and yellow. Please do not eat these. But they do look a lot like candy, which is why I feel like the intense need to constantly be like, don't eat these. I don't want anybody getting sick. That's probably what would happen, is it would probably stain your mouth for a while and you might be kind of sick. And then your throw up would be kind of beautiful colors. Fizzy. I guess I made somebody sick. I apologize. And I'm labeling these bags, like I said, because I plan on rehoming these to someone else, and I want them to actually be able to use this. I don't want them to just get like a bunch of unlabeled, weird little colored pellets that their parents are like, nope, Aunt Becca's never giving you anything ever again. I'm gonna keep the packaging too, so I can repackage it so that everything is together and they can figure out how to do it. Because this is actually a really cool kit. Although it makes a lot of mess. I wonder if there's just some other way. Sublime orange. Oh, I thought about it. Eat the colors to become rainbow sick. Ugh, they look like sweet tarts. This is the problem. Okay. All right, so these are still doing their thing. I'll just put that away somewhere else. Let's grab a little sheet of watercolor paper. So one of the activities they have for us is spray bottle, which I'm not gonna fill it with this like that. Y'all, come on. Go get you some candy. I gotta go fill this bottle anyway. Yeah, I don't know if I want to like try it. Well, he did that. Oh, if only I could play some MC Chris. Can I zoom with this? Good night, Nancy. It always readjusts itself back up. So this is the yellow from the first set. Actually, let's do one of each while I'm... And you want dry hands when you mess with these, mostly because like they're gonna fizz in your own hands and stain your hands, and while that sounds like fun, maybe it's not fun. Okay, so that's the yellow from the bonus set. I don't know why I feel this like driving desire to compare them, but I do. Here is the red from the original set. That's how you know it's a Becca Hilburn video. It's just like endless swatching. And a red from the bonus set. And a blue from the bonus set. And a blue from the original set. That taps us out on the original set. Then we have purple, green, and orange. That's 910 for me. I'm good. So that's purple. You can just go to sleep to my dulcet tones and the fizzing sound of not candy. That's orange and then green. That was not as impressive as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I really thought it was gonna be like Brusho, where it's like color. So let's do it a different way. Okay, they just need a little. So honestly, you probably don't even really need to like melt them. You could use them as like weird fizzing color tablets and just. See, it does not want to stay anymore. I'm not. See, I didn't want it. Sorry about this, guys. If you are motion sensitive, this may not be. Okay, there we go. Actually, it's kind of fun to just chase it around the page. It's fizzing. No, it's fizzing, but I'm swatting it. But like, just kind of swatting it like this is giving me like neat little weird doodle boppy lines. You know what I mean? Yeah, really. So another thing I think could have been neat with these is if they, like Brusho, had multiple colors in each tablet. So when you did something like this, or you let it dissolve on the page, you would get like all these different colors. I think there's a little bit of blue in the green, which is neat. And I think the orange is yellow with a little bit of red. But it would be really cool to distinctly see these colors. Okay, I'm gonna boot the orange for right now. I really thought spraying them would like send color everywhere. Like I thought they were gonna like, you know, like pop rocks or something. And then they get kind of soggy and they don't really want to disperse their color as much anymore. Because this green is not nearly as pretty as the orange was. You're right, you're right. It's neat, it's neat. I hope, you're right, I could always grind multiple colors. And they do recommend that, and I'm gonna do that before I put this away, is I'm gonna try doing like a real Brusho effect where I grind a couple and then, you know, them onto the paper surface. So this is the red from the refill. The red has good color, like the color is moving. And I don't want these to come across as like, oh, Becca's complaining. I want it to just come across as like, oh, these are ideas for possible future cool kids art supply products. I mean, like, blowing on your paint with a straw is a technique, and using Q-tips to paint is a technique, so this is as much a technique as anything else. It's a shame Kino Kitsune is out having fun this weekend, because I think they would enjoy giving me a hard time about this. Did I do anything with the, oh no, I didn't do anything with the color. Are you gonna put this on your fridge, Joseph? You're gonna put it up in your, should I sign it?
Yeah, just make sure to do it in the children's.
Oh my goodness, my special big girl drew this for me. How old is she? 33. She's quite an artist. Oh wait, is this the one who's a comic artist? Recently I got a critique that I draw much younger than my actual age, and I guess they were like seeing into the future with this piece. I think the purple is dry. I can fix that. I could spritz it, but I could also... The fizz is fun. It doesn't... Okay, I thought it was gonna like fizz and send paint out, so I thought it was gonna make for cool random effects, and I was really excited for that. So that's, yeah, but I was thinking it'd be more like Brusho, where you get lots of different colors in each puck as well. So the colors are kind of neat though, like they're bright. I'm looking forward to swatching these other colors that we have kind of marinating over at the top. I'm about done playing with this though. I hope y'all are done with that too, because I'm done with it. I need a spatula to lift this up. You think you can help me out? It's really wet. Yeah, and maybe bring up something it can dry on. So paint is seeping into the texture of the paper, and the paper has kind of a checkerboard sort of pattern. Remember how we were talking about the Artesans watercolor paper a while back? It's got that kind of a texture, which is not my favorite for watercolor paper textures. I like that more random kind of texture. I want something metal or a plate. Or, actually, I can just put it on a piece of this. But I do want the spatula. A literal spatula. It is. Joseph even said he put it up in his cubicle and tell everybody that I drew it. It is kind of neat though, just to like play around with it. See, I'm looking at this here, and what they did is they grabbed color from the tablets and dragged it, which is really pretty. But like, I feel like the color they were able to get is more saturated for like the blue than what we were able to get. But we'll see, because we have the ones, give me a sec. Oh, why thank you. Let me fix the camera. Sorry. Please stay like that, camera. So I have a piece of gator board / coroplast plastic. I'm just gonna, oh, it's so drippy. Scoop it onto there like fresh baked cookies. We're just gonna transfer it over to my drying station. Oh, that's at an angle, that's not gonna work. It is so wet. I'll just put it there for now. That's going in your cubicle. I'm gonna sign it. Oh, maybe. They'll just trying to ply me with food. Alright, I am kind of excited to see how our mixed colors turned out. So let's see, we took a look at the watercolor paper they sent. Let's take a look at the art paper they sent me, which doesn't have any texture. It's fairly thin. It's a little bit thinner than cardstock, but thicker than like sketch paper, and it doesn't have any texture to it. And I am using here the Faber-Castell soft grip brushes. They came in really cute colors. So this is our red. It's a little bit grainy. Oh, awesome, thank you. That was red, this is yellow. It's a bit green, grainy old fellow. I mean, yeah, these are dye-based watercolors. They are very bright color, they're very vivid color, very neon color, like Tyra pointed out that Hazel had said in her review. So these are the like 3 primary colors they gave us. Next is orange. Orange comparatively is a little bit muted. I have a feeling all of the mixed colors are going to be a little bit muted. So next is their purple. There is still some sedimentation in the bottom. There's also like this granulation to it, which is probably whatever makes the colors fizz. It wouldn't surprise me if there's some baking soda in there. Yeah, everything but the main primaries and the purple are pretty pale. So you're going to want to, if you're using these, you're going to want to add a little more color than recommended, especially the green and the orange. This is, I'd have to look it up. This one's very grainy. I think that's red orange. And this is more like a true red. Their red is more like a magenta, so it's really like a CM1K, and there is no black. With this being magenta, yellow, and blue, which isn't surprising because that's the way dye-based watercolors go pretty frequently. Purple green, so yeah, that's red and orange. That's more of a true red. And this is red violet. purple, but this purple seems to have more red in it. Next is teal. Yeah. Well, I followed their mixing instructions, so like you could probably mix them a lot stronger. Like this teal is really more like a burgundy green, and it's much stronger than theirs. I kind of think their lime green. Okay, their lime green's alright. And then we have violet. And that's just blue with like one streak of red in it. I'll try mixing that again. Yeah, that's just like a soft. This is more like ultramarine blue. So if you want to like warm up your blue, this would be the blue for you. And then finally we have yellow orange. I do think this kit is a really fun way for kids to kind of learn color mixing and color theory and like how you would mix colors. I do like it for that reason, and I do think there is a Crayola color mixing set and it's all right, but this one, you know, there's the fizzy element, and there's kind of my like the pseudoscience-y kind of element where we can kind of grind our own colors. My favorite Copic marker, that's a tough question. Probably my most used Copic marker would be RO2, which is like, they call it flesh, but it's like salmon pink kind of color. All right, I'm gonna grab their watercolor paper again. I'll move this over to my drawing sheet. Scooch it on over onto there. I wish they'd included a clear instead of a white, but I like that they're having kids learn about like wax resist techniques. I'm on board with that. I'm just kind of making random lines and marks. RV21. I'd have to look. But I assume that's like one of the really nice pinky, purpley kind of reds. I mean, it is a red violet after all. Okay, let's see. Okay, their synthetic brushes are all right. Their watercolor paper is weird. It soaks in like immediately. Yeah, that's weird to me. Weird for me. Because I was hoping I could get some color blending with this, and I don't think that's gonna happen. So even though it comes with watercolor paper, I think I would recommend, if you're buying this for kids, I would recommend supplying your own watercolor paper. Canson's XL watercolor paper is very affordable. Ooh, the paper's starting to shred a little bit too. Canson's watercolor paper is very affordable, and yeah, would probably handle a lot better than this. So like, there's stuff I like about this kit, but there's quite a few things that I'm like, oh, I want to tweak this. But I think it could be a really nice way to spend the afternoon together. And after the stream, I'm going to list everything that we went over together in the description, and I'll include links and prices. So off the top of my head, I can't tell you guys how much this kit costs. And this isn't a sponsored stream, but they did send me this kit. Well, they sent me a whole bunch of stuff, which I'm going to go over with you guys, but I just wanted to disclose that with you guys. Are there any other marker brands I like? I've actually reviewed a lot of marker brands on this channel. I really like the Blick Studio brush markers. I like Prismacolor markers pretty well. The Spectra AD markers are okay, but they're a little bit dry. Weird. Okay, they do have bristles. I don't know if I can like splay it enough for you to see, but they're so densely packed. They're little kid synthetic brushes kind of. I like the little comfort grips on them, and I would like to see, I know other brands have done like comfort grips in the past. I'd really like to see that actually make a comeback with like really nice brushes, because that would be really nice to have. But no, they're not foam, and they're not the silicone brushes either. They're just really densely packed, and you can even see where like the paper is starting to like flake up onto them. Of course, no, that's not even the paper. That's the like whatever they have in these to make it fizzy. Not digging their paper. This paper at all. This is cool though. Look, if you drip it into wet areas, it does a little bit of color chromatography where the colors kind of separate out. That's cool. I like that. Move more in that kind of direction. Anything that like lets you play with color separation, color changing due to pH, anything like that is pretty neat. So I am not digging the paper. They did send me a pack of their watercolor paper. I'm curious if it's the same paper or if it's different. This is definitely a fun kit though. Okay, the best brush of these is this one here. This one's okay. My art style inspiration. I read a lot of manga. So my biggest inspiration is probably like Studio Ghibli and American children's book illustrations. Hi, Brenda. Good evening. All right, so yeah, this paper is very, very thin. I'm gonna pop this over on the side to dry. And then I'm gonna take a quick look. Oh yes, I have definitely seen Sailor Moon. That was a big favorite of mine. The old 90s one with the terrible / wonderful voice acting was great. I used to rush home from school in the afternoon so I could catch it on TV. So really quick before we move on to our next goodie, I do want to take a look at the double-ended markers that came with this set. Now these I think are really neat. I was kind of hoping they would send me some of these because I've been wanting to try them for a while. Good color laydown so far. Let's see how water reactive they are. Not so much. Let's try it on a non-porous surface. Let's see if we can use it like watercolor. How do you like them, Maddie? Are they any good? And how's the color range? Like, does it have decent skin tones? Yeah, they did redub it. The red and the flat green. Yeah. And like the yellow. This could be maybe okay with like gouache for applying details. These remind me a lot of Crayola Super Tips. But I do like that they are double-ended so you get more colors in kind of a smaller format. They have 48 colors. Yeah, but they have 48 colors and it fits in like a 24 marker like form factor, which is neat. One color that doesn't get enough attention. So one of my favorite colors is this like bright spring green slash green gold, and a lot of people call it baby puke or baby poop green, but I think of it as like first day of spring kind of green, like this color actually. I paint a lot of foliage and a lot of plants and a lot of leaves and stuff, so this kind of color is really fun for me because, you know, that works really well for leaves. Hey, Pook Nero. If the kid may see these, I would not really like them. I don't know, you can blend them. I mean, you can blend a lot of markers, but I like that with like a little bit of careful planning. You could do very nice, soft, subtle gradations. A little bit of planning and a little bit of plastic. Now I want to try a larger set just to see what I can do with it. Just for like these nice gradient blends. So those are kind of fun. I wish they'd sent me a full set of those because those would have been fun to play with. And they're actually nice on this art paper. I understand that feeling. Yeah, I think as a kid I would have liked them because like the novelty of double-sided would have just been way too appealing for me. But I definitely understand the fear of like, oh, the color's gonna dry up and then I'm not gonna have it anymore. I have seen the Let's Dub project play Danganronpa. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to carefully pour these down the sink because I want to clean this set out so I can pass it along to another loving owner. One more thing I want to try before we go is I want to try mashing up 2 of the colors and then kind of sprinkling it on the paper and spritzing it and seeing what we get. Let's do blue and yellow. I bet they're good for calligraphy. Those double-sided markers, they seem like they're really good for calligraphy. So maybe the adult market would be a good place to also market them. So, how'd you like the new Lion King, Tyra? I'm not trying to cover it to hide it from you. I'm trying to cover it to keep it from like going all over my desk. That's my other big problem with this kit. Is it's definitely an older person, younger person kind of project because I'm having a hard time with this. Okay. Yeah, please, I want to check it out. And link it in the Discord chat as well so I don't miss it. Because sometimes if I'm recording stuff like this, I don't always catch stuff that's linked in the stream. Alright, finally. Okay, these... Oh, they're fizzing a lot now. Alright, so, I think I have found my favorite use for these, which is kind of like a Brusho light sort of thing. Much cheaper, probably. Again, we got to check the prices. But I would assume it's cheaper than Brusho. You do have to mix them yourself. But they do have the added bonus of fizzing, and you can kind of control which colors are going into your mix. So what I like about Brusho is it's a watercolor product that contains lots of variations of the color within the color, so you get like a really pretty color gamut when you add water, sort of like what we're getting here when we mix the yellow and the blue together. And I am really glad to see that in a product that's marketed more towards a younger audience. So I used Brusho. Give me a sec. I used Brusho to do this technique here on this Marshall watercolor. So, well, you know, when something's fun, it's fun. So this, I think, is probably the funnest, best use scenario, is kind of being able to sprinkle on the colors that you ground yourself. And that's also really cool because artists for centuries had to grind their own pigments. They had to grind minerals into pigments. In fact, I wish Kabocha was here tonight because she makes her own pigments. But if you are looking for a really cool channel where they talk about making their own pigments, Nada Makes, which I'm sure you guys have heard of, Nada Makes. She makes her own paints, and then Eve Bolt also makes her own paint here on YouTube. So if you're interested in learning, you know, something a little bit more in depth about grinding and making your own pigments, you should check both of them out. All right, so I'm going to get this cleaned up, and Joseph is going to pick a product out of our product bag. Let's put it on the desk. I want them to see it before I do. I'm just going to have to be careful around it. Okay. Oh, okay. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at the For the Love of Letters Pitt Artist Pens. I really like Pitt pens. I've actually talked about the colored Pitt pens quite a few times over on the blog, and I can dig those up and show you guys. This little set has a beautiful blush colored red brush pen, a 1.5, a medium, and a small. I'm going to finish cleaning this up, and we'll take a look at this. No, I was thinking you could give these to Virgil and Emil maybe, but I don't know if their parents are going to want to do it with them.
Yeah, it seems pretty intense.
Yeah, this is, and I know people can hear me. Hi, y'all. Yeah, it's an intensive set. Maybe Candace's kid might like it. He's old enough that he could do this with his son's supervision. So this can go home if she thinks he wants it. Once I get this all packed back up. Thanks to Candace. that is one of the downsides of this, is it's going to take a while to clean up. They're staining. Like all the paperwork have stained. Are you talking about the lens? Man, I wish I could get my new lens. Devin had some as a kid. I'm so mad. Joseph, could you grab me like a nicer paper out of my sketchbook drawer? Not that one, the below it. No, that's black paper. It's not gonna show up. No, there's nothing else in there. I do have I have their watercolor paper. I guess we can take a look at it and see if it's the same. Aw, thank you. Okay, so this is the Faber-Castell watercolor pad. It's actually different from the watercolor paper I was just using. What is this season? Okay, all right. Premium quality Faber-Castell since 1761 watercolor pad. Heavyweight paper is specially designed for use with watercolor pencils and paints. It is a 9x12 pad. They've got loads of socials down there at the bottom. And greatartstartshere.com could be your source for inspiration. And they say that premium quality children's art supplies since 1761, which is pretty cool. And it's made from 50% post-consumer recycled materials. And you can learn more at FaberCastell.com. So this is a pretty standard cellulose base. That's like wood pulp, tree pulp. Most papers are made from these kind of papers, or these kind of fibers. Cellulose base watercolor paper. It is very smooth textured, a bit like a Bristol paper. Ah, sorry, I can skip it. Give me a sec. Okay. Little bit heavier than the watercolor paper they sent before. Decent texture though, like feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. Okay, so we're also taking a look at the Faber-Castell 4 Pitt artist pins for the Love of Letters set. It is India ink, and that's all of the pins in here. There is a brush, a 1.5 bullet tip, a medium, and a small. And a lot of artists really like the Faber-Castell Pitt pins for inking their comic pages. I like pads over blocks just because I can take the sheets out very easily and run it through my printer to print blue lines. But blocks are very handy because you don't have to stretch the paper inside. It's already, I can actually show you. So what you see right here, this is a pad, right? Like it's tape bound or glue bound at the top. This here is a block. It's bound on 2 or more edges with like a really thick rim of glue. And the point is to hold the illustration tight to keep it from buckling when you're painting. So generally I prefer pads over blocks, but I do use blocks on occasion. And what I have over here are some of my other Pitt artist brush pins. I actually really like these. And this might actually be a color I don't have. How did they manage to do that? Good for you! Without even trying, without even knowing. So I'll demonstrate these first, and then we'll talk about these just a little bit. Yeah, for sure, the blocks are definitely good for urban sketching. Keeps your paper nice and tight. Right, so that is what the small looks like. It's a very fine point. I would say it's like a 0.5 millimeter. And what we're going to do is we're going to test these out for waterproofness and alcohol marker proofness. So that's the small. Here's the medium. This is more like an 8. I guess I used to use these when I hand lettered my comics. That's what I would like specifically use it for. Now I like using little brush pins because they're easier for me to ink with. That's the medium, and then here's the 1.5. I can show you if I have it. I don't know if I have a blog post or a video about it. Okay, so that is, there's a lot of meat to that question. This is a Copic Multiliner SP. This is their metal bodied ones. I don't know if they still sell them, but they used to sell for $10 each. And the reason for that is they are refillable. You can, not this one here, but with some of their other ones, you can replace the nib if the nib gets worn out. You can also remove, and I'm not going to do it with this one, but you could just pull out the entire back ink cartridge and replace it with a fresh one. In fact, I have some of the replacement nibs, and I thought I had some of the replacement ink cartridges, but I'm not seeing them. So the SPs, they're really nice. They're all metal, aluminum bodied, sturdily built. The regular multiliners have a plastic body. I'm not seeing any around my table, otherwise I would show you. It's the same ink, just not refillable, much cheaper. What I like though about the Sakura multiliners is they're not refillable, they're not replaceable, which is kind of a bummer, but you can get them almost anywhere. You can get them at Michael's, you can get them at Plaza, you can get them at Blick, you can get them at some office supply stores. Both of these markers are waterproof when they've had a chance to dry all the way, and alcohol marker proof when they've had a chance to dry all the way. So really it's going to boil down to your preference, what you like using, what you can afford, what you're comfortable with, and what you can find. Now with these, they're India ink, and India ink is tricky because there are waterproof India inks, there are India inks that are not waterproof, and India ink is generally never alcohol marker proof. They write really nice on this watercolor paper too. Okay, so that's the small, the medium, and 1.5. Here is the brush pen that they have. Faber-Castell brush pens have a compressed fiber brush nib, which means they're not as flexible as other types of brush nibs. And it also means that once you glue in the nib, you can actually, using like Copic tweezers or other small tweezers, pull the nib out, flip it over, and put it back in and get a fresh side. And this color is Deep Red 223. And something that's really cool about Faber-Castell products is that many of them follow the same color coding system. So, you know, Deep Red 223 in a Pitt pen is going to be very similar to Faber-Castell 223 Deep Red in a Polychromos. Oh man, yeah, I like the PN ones as well. Yeah, I have a bunch of them. Oh, you actually found a post where I talk about it? So something that's really cool about these, and they also make them in the big brush ones too, and those are floating around somewhere, I'm not sure, but they're all India ink. You can blend them on the right paper. They are still water reactive until they're dry, and then once these dry, they're completely waterproof. So blending these is a little bit of a challenge, and it kind of takes finding the right paper. But what I found is I really like using these on like toned tan papers. Now, since they're water-based markers, like most water-based markers, they can tear up your paper. And that just comes from the fact that the water takes longer to evaporate from the paper surface than alcohol inks would. So the water is part of like the abrading factor. It makes the paper a little bit more delicate. And on this watercolor paper, they're not as blendy. But like with many water-based markers, if you apply it to a non-porous surface and then pick it up with like a wet paintbrush, you can use it to do lighter shades of the same color. And I can show you guys that if you like in a second. Yeah, tech pens. Was that for the Pitt pens? Yeah. That link that you just linked. Oh, wow. I used to be really ride or die about Copic STs, but I've come to really like the Sakura ones, and I really like the Sakura Pigma marker, these Pigma Professional, particularly the BB and the FB, because those are brush markers, and they are also alcohol marker safe and waterproof, so those are cool. Have I ever? Yes, I have a video on this channel. I have a couple, but I have one I actually like better than the other, where I use Sharpie pins to color on Strathmore Zentangle paper. They're okay, but I'm very sensitive to fumes, and Sharpies are very much not archival despite being permanent. They will eat through your paper and turn it yellow in about 2 years. Some of these are things that I have bought and collected over the years, and a few of them are goodies that Faber-Castell sent me. And the reason they sent me goodies is because I teach through Plaza, and the manager that I work for put in a good word for me with Faber-Castell. They checked out my channel, they like what I do, and they sent me some cool stuff to review. So all of this over here, this is stuff I've already owned. I really do like Pitt pens, and I like using them on tone tan paper, so I have quite a few of them. But I'm about to switch over in a couple of minutes to a new product that someone is going to pick from the product bag. Give me a second to get to that point though, okay? I think the element of surprise is the selling point. Any other art YouTubers you like? I really like the Frugal Crafter. I like Mind of Watercolor. When Owings Art used to update more, and maybe I'm just missing his updates, I used to really like Owings Art reviews. I like Eve Bolt stuff. I like Nada Makes a lot. I really like Sadie Saves the Day. Oh, shoot. I used to watch a lot of Joy-san's videos, and I just haven't had, you know, there's only so much time. Plus, I've been watching a lot of like survival YouTube channels and a lot of like J.A.S. Townsend. So, you know, only so many hours in the day. A lot of GDC talks. That's the Game Developers Conference. So they talk about game dev. All right. So I do want to do a water fastness test and a Copic marker test before we move on to our next goodie. How about Juicy Ink? She has really good stuff, and I really like her art, but I've never personally gotten into her videos, but it's not because of her or anything like that. It's just a time thing. No spoilers, please. Mostly I like smaller art YouTube channels just because I feel like they're doing really good work and they don't necessarily get the recognition that they deserve. Alright, so Copic marker test. I used to think these were not Copic proof. There's a little bit of smearing, but it's not as bad as I would have thought. No, there's a lot more with the big 1.5. Now, usually I will also allow my inks to cure overnight, and obviously I barely let them cure for 5 minutes. Yeah, Rambutan makes some really nice art. Now I'm gonna go grab some water and we'll do the water safety test. was G00, I believe. All right, Joseph, do you think you can grab me another goodie from the pile of goodies? Possibly. I want to hear doubt in your voice. Ah, this is hard to remove. I'm going to move this whole thing and not look so you guys can see. What are we looking at? We are taking a look at the Faber-Castell oil pastels. This is their red label. They promise 24 oil pastels with premium quality, smooth, rich colors for easy blending, and a protective plastic storage case, which indeed they do come with. I love seeing reusable packaging. So they want us to try scratch through technique, rubbings, blending, and mixing. But I think we spent so much time with the Fizzy watercolors, we're just gonna take a look at these. They also sent some, can you grab the black paper for me? I'm sorry, I know every time you get comfortable. Actually, I'll do it. Some black paper sketch pad. So this is kind of neat because it is black paper, not watercolor paper, it is sketch paper. There are 25 sheets. It is perfect for creating cool effects using metallic pencils and gel sticks. And it is made from 50% post-consumer recycled materials. And it is on a 9x12 pad. So bound at the top, pad bound. And oil pastels are generally an opaque medium. So I feel like they're probably going to show up really nicely on the black paper. Sorry, I had to sniff that, guys. I like the case. I like the form factor. Very, the word I'm looking for is simple and straightforward. And the word that was going to come out was plain, and I didn't mean plain. Oh yeah, they definitely do show up on the black paper, which is not, you know, what they inspired / encouraged us to do. Don't want to go backwards with these on this paper. There's not really any tooth to this paper. It really is sketch paper. No real tooth to it. So you can only do so many layers of like oil pastel. And eventually the oil pastel will kind of get through. But I thought it would be really neat to like use an opaque medium on black paper. They're not as creamy as you would expect. They're a little bit harder than some of the other oil pastels I've used in the past, but I also feel like for younger artists, the fact that they're a little more solid, maybe less likely to melt in your hands, would be a good thing. I also like that they're not just tiny little circular body pastels, mostly because I always found those harder to manipulate and they're a little bit easier to manipulate, and they also have little facets in them, which makes it a little bit easier to get kind of, you know, a smaller area so you can do like a finer detail. Oh, thanks, Tyra. I don't know if y'all are interested, but I also have a lot of comic tutorials here on this channel, as well as convention recaps. So most of my con tutorial stuff is either on how to be a con artist or over on my blog. The color laydown isn't bad though. It's smooth, but not necessarily creamy, if y'all know what I mean. The paper is very smooth. It doesn't really have much tooth to it. So once the watercolor stuff I did over there has a chance to dry, I'm gonna pull a sheet from there and try it on those, which has a little bit, no, that doesn't have much tooth either. It's just thicker paper. Ooh. Ooh, that's cool. And then of course the darker colors don't really show up on this paper, but that's not really surprising. So the case has a very cheap little plastic insert to hold these in, but the case itself is actually made of really nice plastic. So once you kind of outgrow the insert, you could get rid of the insert and just fill the case up. Yes, I 100% agree with you, Gabriel. I am always complaining that there aren't enough skin tones, especially in stuff that's designed to be just used straight out of the box. It would be nice to see like 3 or 4 different skin tones. Not even landscapes, Joseph. When they do for a lot of beginner art supply sets, it's very primary colors, which are actually very hard to use because, like, let's talk about Crayola, right? Like Crayola 10 color set, because that's what I grew up with, that's what I'm familiar with. You know, a very bright yellow, a very bright orange, a very bright red, a very bright blue, a very bright green, no skin tone, black, and orange. Did I say orange? I might have said orange, right? And like, yes, you get all of the colors, I guess, but oh, and a brown, which is a skin tone, but the brown they include is not what I would pick for a skin tone. And they do sell like the multicultural sets, and that helps a lot. But I wish, like in the larger sets where you get like the big super tip sets, for example, I wish those always came with skin tones. A lot of people who are buying art supplies so they can draw people, or they can draw their characters, or they can work on their comics. That's a question. I think at least 4 brands, starting with Craypop when I was a kid, and then there was just stuff that I was given secondhand when I was in undergrad, and it didn't even have any labels. It was just like sad little bins that they found in one of the supply closets when they're cleaning up after Hurricane Katrina. This is yellow ochre. They included a yellow ochre. Good job. This brown is nice too. They included yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and burnt umber. Well, you could do things with these colors. Like people, landscapes. That's another thing. I mean, you know, portrait sets and landscape sets do have different colors, but there's a lot of colors in common too. And I'm not going to swatch the black one here because that's not going to do. Yeah. You called it. There are some companies that are doing like the double-sided markers where you have like a lighter version. Wow, the watercolor paper just doesn't want to come out of this pad. Like it's gonna rip the next sheet. Okay, I will do what you want me to do. Oh, what? Come on. Some off-camera fighting with the watercolor pad. I like the paper in it. I'm gonna probably hold on to it for a little while and do something with it, but I couldn't remove it from the pad. Hi, Jose. Good evening. Okay, so this is the Faber-Castell red label watercolor paper. It doesn't have a lot of texture, but it's a little bit more texture than the black sketch paper we were just looking at. So I'm going to try these on the watercolor paper as well. And this peachy color kind of picked up some of the black from the black sketch paper, which is, yeah, it's a little bit like the yellow did too. No, like pig, like the dye. Most black papers are just dyed black. Black printmaking papers are made with black wool, and that's why they're very expensive. Well, yeah, that's why I was like, well, maybe there's a way they could impregnate it so it wouldn't come off. Oh, it's way more blendy on this paper. It also, no, not all papers are coated. It also is much creamier on this paper, and it blends more smoothly on this paper. It depends on what color skin tone I'm doing. If I'm doing somebody with lighter skin tones, I will usually go with a pink, and if I'm doing somebody with darker skin tones, I will usually go with kind of a muted red or a red violet. Use an X-Acto knife to like scrape through it. Oh, to cut it out. Yeah, I guess I should have. You know how it is when you think it's going to be really easy and you're like, oh, this will just take me like a second to pull it out of the pad, and then 5 minutes later you're like, I'm still trying to remove it. Oh, Cosmos is a really pretty color. It's nice for makeup too, like eye makeup. Yeah, these go well together. I would have really enjoyed this set as a younger person. I still like it. It's still very nice and nicely presented. I grew up with a very treasured set of Sakura Crepa that I got as a birthday present. And I used that set until it was nubbins. And I really liked it, but the cardboard fell apart long before I finished using the set. I love the smell of oil pastels. And I know there's solvents I could be using to blend them better, etc. Oil pastels is not necessarily a medium I use frequently. Oh, some of them do. I try to avoid, I don't watch those videos, and I try to avoid even looking at it because it makes me kind of nauseous to think about. I just want to be over here minding my own business, drawing cute things, writing my comics. That's how I want to spend my time. A few of them have. The Art Sherpa has her own art supply line. I am intensely envious. Envious is when you wish you had the same thing, but you didn't want to take it from them. I'm intensely envious. I would love to do that someday. But I think it's really cool that she's got her own deal going. That's right, Jazza does have a subscription box. I saw that some people were unboxing it. It's like a $99 subscription box. I can't vouch for that because I have not tried it, and I am not going to buy it. Do not have the money for that anymore, so I will just have to live without knowing. I'll take your word for it, though, that it is nice. That's fine, Tyra. Thank you for letting me know, though. I'm really excited about it. Tyra's sending me some alcohol markers that she found at Dollar Tree. And when I was in Louisiana, I hit 5 different Dollar Trees trying to find alcohol markers, and I could not find them because I wanted them for that big Dollar Tree review I just wrapped up, and I could not find them. So I am looking forward to checking those out. Don't tell me if they're good. Don't tell me if they're bad. I want to go in completely blind. I don't want to know. Ooh, some of these colors are so pretty. They blend well, too. When I was a kid, my mom would be like, oh, we can just use hairspray on top of it to keep it from smearing, like a fixative. Don't do that. It will dull your colors. They sell fixatives that you can use that will actually do the job of preventing it from smearing and will not dull your colors. So please do not donut. I like them on the watercolor paper because It's got a little more tooth. It's a heavier texture paper. It's more designed for this kind of media, for just any kind of media. The sketch paper is definitely more designed for like opaque color pencils, that sort of thing. You could probably use it with gel pens. It's probably great with gel pens. I'm drawing something I saw while on my walk today. That's a mood, Tyra. Well, it's also, we were cleaning out my studio and I just had all these things that were still in packages that I meant to review that I bought like a year ago, and I never got around to doing it. And I just kind of started to feel like my stuff was owning me. So I'm trying from this point of the year onward to just be really better about what I acquire and rehoming it so that someone else can enjoy it, and not just like having this hoard of things that I'm not using. Ooh. Prefer using a tissue paper? Yeah, that makes sense. I have some blending stumps somewhere that I could also use, but a tissue paper would be so easy, or like a Q-tip. I'm just kind of doodling with these. So, just personal preference, the one thing I don't like about any oil pastel is that they get all over my hands and then they get all over everything I touch. I'm impressed, in fact, that my hands did not end up staying blue from when we were using the dye-based watercolors we just took a look at. No, I do not have a dog. I actually have a cat. His name is Bowie. And I am co-owners of a very old cat named Raccoon, and I used to be co-owner of a very old cat named Happy, but she passed away about a month ago. I like dogs a lot, though. I just don't have one. Oh, that's a cute name, Macaron the cat. Does he go by Mac? What's its nickname? Or is it always Macaron, no nicknames? You guys ever like play around with an art supply and it's just kind of like a satisfying art supply to use? Like maybe it's not the best ever, but it's got like good tactile feel, it's easy to use, the colors are saturated. That's these. Like, these are pretty satisfying to use. You can layer them a little bit. I think the only hard sell might be explaining to someone that these are really, really, really not like your wax-based crayons. These are their own thing. They're fun. They've got cute colors. See, I never keep to the promise of no nicknames. We were not gonna. Bowie was gonna be Bowie's real name, no nicknames. That cat has 60 names, including Bowser. I know, Tyra. I'm really sorry. It's hard losing animals. It's hard having to say goodbye and make that kind of decision. But I know you guys were doing what was best for the animals' well-being. got a cute attitude, boy. Aw, is your cat a butt? A little jerk. Those are fun. I like those. I'm gonna have to keep track of everything so I can list everything in the description as well as figure out prices. Okay, so, oh no, Tyra, what happened? The steps on how you can learn how to draw. Oh, goodness. I think for me, what started it was there was something I wanted to draw. So I'd kind of like drawn off and on for years when I was a kiddo, but there was never like a specific thing that kept me drawing every day until I kind of discovered manga, and I was like, I really like that art style and I really want to tell my own stories with comics because I'd been writing stories before that. And it was kind of discovering manga and falling in love with the art form that kind of drove me to learn how to draw other things, and it kind of drove me to draw every day. So I think finding something that makes you want to draw every day, that's worth the time, worth the effort of learning how to draw, is going to be a big first step. So, okay, all right, I'll make sure to check. So maybe it's just like you have this story you want to tell, and it involves like horses and houses, and it's set outside, and there's knights and there's swords. So those are all aspects that you can kind of like work on drawing individually, and that'll kind of help drive you learning how to draw. And I know there's like loads of books and YouTube channels and blogs and all kinds of things out there for learning how to draw. But I think the best thing is to just find a system that explains how to see things, how to think about things in a way that works for you and in a way that makes sense for you. And then just find more things that teach using that same kind of method. Because there's lots of different ways to learn how to draw things. Okay, so I have been abandoned for the time being. So I'm going to go shut my door and I'm going to go grab something else that we can take a look at. So originally I was going to do this next, but since I have a request, I'll set that aside and we're going to take a look at these. So these are the two Goldfaber sets that Faber-Castell set. We have the 48-piece FaberAqua and then the 48-piece regular Goldfaber. So it's going to be kind of cool to do kind of a head-to-head comparison with these. And I'm actually going to use the watercolor paper they sent, since I like it decently well. I just struggle to get it out of the pad. Aha! We have one that actually removed neatly, and I'm gonna use a little bit of water to clean my hands off since I have oil pastel residue all over my hands. Oh, okay, sure. Thank you for letting me know. You're not watching it downstairs, are you? Okay. So these are shrink wrapped. Oh, and you know what? If you guys enjoy anthro art, you guys should check out Terry Delgado's YouTube channel. She has a really cute art style. I almost cut myself. That's not good. It is. All right, so that is one. And it's also got like this kind of matte finish to it. Ooh, you're gonna be so beautiful at your wedding, Tyra. Are you getting excited for it? Okay, so Goldfaber color pencils, crayons de couleur, Faber-Castell Creative Studio Quality TM. Both of them have matte finish boxes. This one has a little bit of schmutz on it. 48 color pencils, 3.3 millimeter lead, excellent light fastness, soft vibrant color laydown, highly pigmented, water resistant and smudge proof, high break resistance due to secure bonding process, easy to sharpen with all normal pencil sharpeners. And then we have color numbers on the back, not necessarily color names on the back. And I'm curious to see how these correspond with the polychromos and some of the other products in their line. I'm sure they do match up one-to-one. Man, I got so much of that, of those oil pastels all over the place. Doesn't have skin colors. We'll see. I have a feeling this could work really well. Maybe the lighter red could work really well. This lighter brown with the burnt sienna. Maybe this darker brown. We'll see. And then we have the Goldfaber Aqua watercolor pencils. Creative Studio Quality, made in Germany. This has way more information on the back. So let me find English, because that is unfortunately the only thing I can read. 3.3 millimeter lead, excellent light fastness, soft, vibrant color laydown, highly pigmented, fully water soluble lead, high break resistance due to secure bonding process, easy to sharpen with all normal pencil sharpeners. Caution, avoid dipping watercolor pencils in water. And that is probably because they will just melt. Made in Germany, eco-friendly, which is nice to see. I like the reusable metal boxes. This is more their regular line. Wow, y'all. Okay, so we have some information here in the top, but I am just so taken aback by the cute, albeit maybe a little bit flimsy tray system. I've never seen that. I've seen trays, obviously. I've seen stacking trays. I've just never seen like the cute little elastics on the side. I'm all about that. Okay, so on the left is the Faber-Castell Goldfaber. On the right is the Goldfaber Aqua. They are beautiful babies and they feel good. All right, so, oh boy, lots of information here. Wow, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna read the whole thing now. I'm gonna find what's relevant for each one. The Creative Studio product line enables both aspiring and hobby artists. Okay, this is a step above the red line stuff we were looking at, but it's still for people who are kind of more figuring their stuff out. Maybe they're looking for something more affordable. I know! I'm looking forward to swatching them. To express creativity with a high-quality product that exceeds expectations. These pencils give novice and intermediate artists a perfect tool for their art. Eco Pencil, 3.3 millimeter lead, break resistant. I thought that said like no marker for a second. I was like, ah. They were very generous, yeah. Turn the mic up more. Doo-doo, is this okay for y'all? Eco-friendly water-based varnish, made in Germany. And then this appears to be their color line. I'm not sure if it is the color line in this box or if it's the entire color line. No, okay. When they sent me this, they sent me the entire color line. Awesome. Okay. The Goldfaber color pencils are available in 48 bright and ultra light fast colors. The 3.3 millimeter lead is glued to the entire pencil length the 3.3 lead, there we go, is glued the entire pencil length into the wood, making it extremely break resistant, and the water-based varnish protecting the pencils is environmentally friendly. And then they have some beautiful things to say about passion and learning and trying new techniques and inspiration and using baby oil and using different kind of rubbing techniques to get different textures. That's neat. Okay, so that is the Goldfaber. These are the non-water soluble ones. These are the water soluble ones. And I am a little bit more, no problem. Thank you guys for letting me know. I am more of a watercolor pencil kind of person. So I'm excited about both, but these are probably the ones I'm going to be able to speak to more. I'm familiar with fruits baskets. I had a lot of friends in high school who were super into fruits baskets. For me, I was more into shonen stuff. So I was more into like Naruto and One Piece, and I was also more into seinen stuff at the time. Yeah, these are really nice. Like sometimes with art supplies, the sketches they include, it's kind of like, but these are really pretty. So let's see if there's anything different. These are a little bit different, but I'm gonna see if there's anything different between the two sets. The little water-based symbol, 48 total colors. Hexagonal pencil is protected with an environmentally friendly water-based varnish. Those, no. I thought it was showing like other products in the line, and it seems like they're available in sets of 12, 24, 36, and 48. Ooh, that's a question, Gabriel. I have some of both. But I guess I like the Faber-Castell Polychromos much more than I like the Prismacolors, but the Polychromos are more expensive and they're harder for me to find in the US. I had to think about it because that was a good question. Sorry about that. Need to drink some water. Just looking to see if there's anything we haven't covered. We want to awaken your excitement for color. Experiencing the soft stroke of the FaberAqua is pure enjoyment. You will never get tired of watching the water and brush transform the color into flowing watercolor. Even if things don't go to plan right away, try out new techniques. Vary the stroke length. Wow, sorry, cannot talk this evening. Vary the stroke length and pressure to create vivid hatching effects. Play with parallel and cross hatching. Overlap individual colors and apply increasing pressure to create color gradients. Inspiration. You will love the moment when brush and water bring your drawing to life. Don't be afraid to experiment and discover your favorite technique. Glazing involves overlapping several thin layers of color to build up the depth of the picture coat by coat. Each layer of color must be dry before a new color is applied. For the wet on wet technique, dampen the clean sheet of paper first, then apply the dissolved color into the damp surface. And no dipping the pencils in the water. That's a big nope. All right, so let's swatch the Goldfaber pencils first, and then we'll do the aqua pencils. Have a good evening, Tanner. I feel that. I feel that. Okay, let us take a look at the pencils. It does not have the color name, it just has the color number, and there were no color names on the back, but there's only 48 total pencils. And I guess they don't sell these open stock because, I don't know, I haven't researched that yet. I'll look into it and get back to y'all. A little bit of breaking with the first yellow. Decently soft. Let me try and zoom y'all in. Okay. low amount of dust, not too much speckling on the paper. Doesn't take a lot of pressure to use these. And I apologize because this is going to take... All right, good night, Tyra. Sleep well. This is going to take a while for me to swatch all 48 of these and then swatch all 48 of the other ones. So I'm just going to remind you guys that if you guys have to go to bed and you miss something, the stream will be available to the public after it's over. So you can always rewatch if you want to. And I think after I do these two, I'm going to call it a night myself. So I should have mentioned this earlier because, you know, timing is a thing. But next Saturday, I'm a busy gal. I'm going to be at the NCE, Nashville Community Education Open House in the morning. And that goes from 10 to 1. But I'm going to have to book it at 12 because I will be at Plaza teaching Make a Mini Comic Boot Camp, or the Comic Boot Camp class. And that is from 1 to 4. So I'm going to be busy repping comics next Saturday. No! They feel like oil core pencils, if you know what I'm talking about. They're softer than Prismacolors. They're a little bit more buttery than Prismacolors. Definitely softer than Crayola, but maybe about as soft as the Crayola signature color pencils that they had for a while. I'm not really doing a whole lot to blend other than just, you know, starting in the prior color and then working my way through, but they seem fairly blendy and I'm not putting down any particular pressure. I'm kind of just casually coloring. I could see these being a good fit for not just artists or people who enjoy making art, but for people who enjoy coloring for relaxation, because the quality of the pencils is really nice, but it's not overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, there's some, like, I have some Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarelle watercolor pencils, and they're $5 a pop, which is a lot. And they're really, really nice. They're really well made, to the point where I kind of don't want to use them because they're so nice. These are nice, but they're not like intimidation level nice. Of course, the real trick is going to be when we try to sharpen these, because I have Coom pencil sharpeners. Let me see if I have any handy. They're German-made pencil sharpeners that are, like, I think they're the best pencil sharpeners in the world. And even they chew through Prismacolors sometimes. So we'll see how good these actually are when it comes time to sharpen them. The color range is nice. And I'm kind of thinking these are designed to be used with the Aqua. We're gonna find that out after we've had a chance to swatch both, though. I like these better than the Spectrum Noir color pencils that they had for a while. I have a really old review of theirs. Yeah, they have some really nice skin tony colors, blushy colors. I'm looking forward to seeing how good the browns are as well. Maddie, you should talk to Kabocha about their watercolor ground. We both have some, but she's actually she's used it, and I've just let it sit, just to see if it's a good fit. Because I know shipping for you is bonkers crazy. Okay, on the second tray. I remember Kabocha saying she liked the gold ground though. All right, we've got someone who can vouch for it. That's good. Thanks, Jill. So I found that sometimes watercolor grounds, they don't handle quite like paper. I mean, it like creates a surface that will accept paint, but it's more like painting stucco, I guess. Would you say that's the same, like your experience with the Daniel Smith ground, or is it like pretty legit? Oh, okay, okay, yeah. I was thinking you were gonna have to import it, and I was like, oh. So what I'm kind of using this stream for is to help me decide which of these I want to keep and maybe do like a further review or do a field test with, and which I want to like talk about and then be able to find a good home for them. It doesn't accept paint to play with, but it's definitely different. Okay, I feel like as long as one knows that going in, it makes a big difference. Because I was kind of hoping it could be used kind of like as a correctional thing for watercolor. Like if you really goof up, you can put the watercolor ground down and then paint on top of it and it wouldn't be noticeable. Because Jerry's used to sell a product like that, but the bottle I had a problem with the gasket and it dried up before I ever got a chance to use it. So with these, pretty much all of the very sharp tips snapped off as soon as I put them to paper, but there has been no snappage so far, fingers crossed. We also get a gold and silver in this set, which, I mean, you know, we're getting 48 colors. I'm not going to complain. If we had 24 and they included gold and silver, I'd be like, that's probably at the expense of some skin tones. But 48, I feel like they probably covered their bases. Okay, we're about to hit some of the darker skin tones now. So here's yellow ochre, and it snapped a little bit. Yeah, that's what I was excited about it for primarily. I don't have any interest personally in using it like, you know, on a surface that's not designed to take watercolor. Like, I've seen people do it on like bags and stuff. That wasn't really what I was interested in myself. I was interested in it as a way to correct like goofs that will not come out of the paper. When you think about it, swatching 48 colors is a lot of colors. Other than liking the skin tones, Maddie, what do you think so far? You're more of a color pencil person than I am. I like the colors, but personally, I would have to put this to much more of a test to like really decide how I feel about it. And I'd probably have to compare it head to head against some of the other color pencils I have. I also have like the Caran d'Ache Pablo pencils, and I'm not, they're high quality, but I'm not a fan of them because they are very hard pencils. Like they're very waxy, they're very, like they're kind of like the Tombow Irigoyen pencils as well. Those are also very hard. I much prefer these sort of softer pencils. So these are a little bit harder maybe than the Derwent Color Soft, which I believe has just rebranded to Derwent Pro Color. And I really like those. So I really like softer pencils. They're a little bit easier on my hands. All right, so that is a swatch off of the Faber-Castell Goldfaber color pencils. Next, I'm going to take a look at the Faber-Castell Aqua, and instead of doing a blended test like this, I'm going to do swatches and then blend that out with water. We'll see how well that goes. And then we will call it an evening for this evening. The one color I haven't swatched with this is the white, mostly because it's not going to show up on the screen. Heavy leaning towards blue. Yeah, I was kind of, or shoot, we could even include this. I was kind of thinking, yeah, I feel like it's kind of light on the reds, like the yellows and the reds. There are a lot of blues in this set. Okay, these are also very soft, very highly pigmented so far. We'll really, my screen's not doing it justice. We'll really see once we add water to them. Personally, and this might be just kind of a quibble, I prefer round watercolor pencils to hexagonal ones just because they're a little more comfortable in my hand. And I'm assuming, and I will double check I'm assuming that the colors in the Aqua set are the same colors in the regular color pencil set. So one thing that could be done, if you're lazy like me, is you can use the watercolor pencil to kind of do a ground wash first and then put the color pencil on top of it, or use it to help kind of build up tones. I think that Joy San uses a similar technique to that, and I think she uses it to great effect. They're a little bit softer, yeah. Which I kind of expect for watercolor pencils. This is probably that, but it's a little browner. I actually like this color better because that's something I feel like this set is missing, is like these kind of like spicy paprika kind of brown reds, you know? Which can be really useful for blushes. They're also a little more dusty, which, you know, for watercolor pencils, I expect that. That's not really unusual, and I'm not really like, oh, it's terrible. I'm just kind of like, okay, they're a little dusty. My current favorite watercolor pencil, it's a toss-up between those overpriced Caran d'Ache Museum aquarelles and Derwent Inktense watercolor pencils. Well, they're not really watercolor pencils, they're ink pencils, but you know. The Derwent Inktense are cool because once you put them down and you activate them with water, they are never going to go anywhere ever again. So you have to be kind of decisive when you're using them. The Museum aquarelles they're just really well made. They're really nice quality. I think these are the first watercolor pencils I've ever tried from Faber-Castell. This and this are probably supposed to be the same color because this and this are. This is way more like pink. Right, yeah. I really like using the Inktense like kind of in the final stages of my watercolor pages. And then you can do glazes on top of them. Super Color 2 is also really nice. I like those as well. I have a lot of those. And for most of my watercolor pencils, I just kind of pick them up, open stock from different stores as I need them. So I kind of have a Frankenstein collection of watercolor pencils. They still holding up? It would be interesting to see how the red label compares to the Creative Studio quality. Like, Faber-Castell is definitely sold in the US, but it doesn't have nearly the footprint it has in other countries. Okay, so the professional ones are just like way better than the red label ones. Yeah, I haven't seen these sold in stores yet. So I'm wondering if what they sent me is a bunch of stuff they're kind of thinking about introducing. The red label hasn't really made like... Okay, I live in the southern part of the US. So I live in Tennessee, and I spend a lot of time visiting family in Louisiana, and I used to live in Georgia. The South gets products very slowly compared to like the East Coast and the West Coast. So So they might be, and even, man, Ohio did stuff before us, like, by far. Ohio is a pretty decent little art enclave. But, so, like, things might be available in other parts of the country, and I don't see them here because we get things slowly. Ohio! They have an Ohio Con spelled that way, too, because they know. Try to sneak this one here. I'm going to try really hard to get both sets on one sheet of paper because it makes it so much easier to compare colors. This, let me try to find. Give me a sec. I don't know that I've seen those. I have a few of the Albrecht Dürer ones, but I don't have, like, are they like big ones? Are the cores much, like, whoo, bigger? I feel like that would be so much easier to, like, not for details, but for, like, you know, filling in large areas. So I feel like some of these colors are significantly different from the other set, which doesn't necessarily bother me. It's just interesting to see how different some of these colors really are. Like, it made it difficult for me to place where I was going through the collection because I was like, whoa, these colors are different. And of course they do also have numbers on the body. They also have barcodes, but they do not have names. I think I'm noticing that. I don't know, like, okay, when it's a 48 color range like this, I don't know if it really bothers me, especially if they're using numerical designations that go across that particular line. Because, you know, like, when it comes to, like, student grade and hobby grade and then professional grade, a yellow ochre is not always a yellow ochre. So having, like, just a numerical designation might be less confusing, less likely to cause frustration. But if it was any bigger than 48, I would need, even the red, well, the red line's huge, right? Like, there's a lot of products in the red line. Like, most of what we looked at today was red line stuff. I also appreciate, I know this has gone on for 3 hours now. I appreciate you guys hanging out and sitting up with me. I'm trying to figure out ways to better address the backlog of things I have. Just mark your favorite color pencils with a sticker so you can find it later. I would say this is a burnt sienna, and it's definitely more burnt sienna-y than the color pencil version. Okay, one more row. Then we're gonna do some water swatching, and then we're gonna wrap things up. And I get to sleep in tomorrow because I don't have a class, and I don't have a con, and I don't have any other thing that I have to get up for early. Oh no, hand-me-down art supplies. I guess that's not so bad though. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, dang. Better hand-me-downs than none. I remember, for some reason, I got this huge brown paper bag of my cousin's gross broken crayons that didn't even have the wrappers on them anymore. Which I don't know why I was given that, because my mom was really good about buying me crayons and markers and art supplies. So I don't know why my aunt thought I would want this bag of like chewed up hand-me-down crayons. But what I ended up doing was melting them down to make multicolor crayons. And this is before, like, you know how people do like canvases and they melt crayons on the top of them, that kind of stuff. That would have been a good use for those, or to make a candle out of them or something. No. And then we get a gold and a silver, and I don't know that I've seen a gold and a silver watercolor pencil. So that is a new one to me. Okay. I both love these trays and I hate these trays, because I love the idea and I love that they did the little handles, but the trays are really flimsy and they really want to buckle. All right, I'm going to go grab some water, and we're going to bang our knees against things, and then we're going to swatch these, and we're going to see whether or not they're as pigmented once we add water. Yeah, that is true. You can have one in the top and one on the bottom, which is nice. I just wish the material they made the trays out of was a little bit sturdier plastic, because it's such a nice tin. I know people are going to keep the trays. Okay, so we're going to use the little flat that they sent me. It's not bad. It's definitely doing the job today, which is good. Also, it has a really nice cushy grip. It does have a plastic handle though, which I'm kind of like, Faber-Castell, what? But I don't know that I am their intended audience for the plastic handle. Wow, yeah, Crayola has like $100 now for both the super tips and the color pencils, and I have the super tip $100, and I'm really glad I bought it because it actually has some skin tones in it. And every time I go to Walmart, I look at that $100 of color pencils, and I have to talk myself out of it because I don't actually like their color pencils very much. This watercolor paper is not bad. It really is more like a Thirsty Bristol, and it's so much better than the watercolor paper they included in that kit. That was bad. That paper was not good. This paper is, if you're gonna get that kit, also pick up this paper or Canson XL. It's gonna make a lot of difference. But this is neat because if you want a cellulose paper that doesn't have too much tooth, and I know people who don't like tooth, they want like a very smooth, affordable paper. This is actually a really good paper, it seems like, for that. I'm gonna have to put it through its paces and find out though. That pink is not as pink as one would think. Like the other colors are nice. These in particular, like the more makeup-y shades, are really pretty when watered down a little bit. But this here is just kind of like, what's going on with you, Lilac? I have been live, Calvin. You see that ticker? It's 3 hours and 2 minutes. I'm just trying to wrap things up here, swatching some Faber-Castell FaberAqua watercolor pencils. Yeah, all right, that's fair. Also the wooden handles, because I do this, I've ruined so many watercolor pencils because I over dip, and then the water gets between the ferrule and the handle, and it makes the handle swell, and then the handle cracks, and then the lacquer cracks, and then you end up getting splinters in your hand. So like on that note, that's a good point. Kids are gonna chew on it, and foolish Beccas are gonna over dip their pencils. These colors are very similar. I think these have good vibrancy though. These are definitely something I'm going to want to put to a further field test. That's a good point, yeah. And they're synthetic. The flat is actually pretty good. The larger round was okay. It was the two smaller rounds that the bristles are very fine and they're very densely packed. So it really was like, Terry asked if I was painting with a foam brush. It was a lot like painting with a foam brush. They're also, for the two smaller ones, they're very short, so there isn't much flex to them either. So maybe they could stand up to like very thickly applied gouache or foam paint, but watercolor, it's just not gonna. These, apparently they're fairly new. And I'm actually pretty pleased with them. There's a couple colors that I'm like, oh, that would benefit from another layer, but most of these colors are really saturated and pretty. Of course, with like, now I haven't finished swatching all of them, but I feel like, and y'all can call me out, I feel like this one is less blue heavy, but I'm probably just pretending. But it makes me want to paint flowers. I could see that, yeah. Actually, that's a good point too. With these, with the smaller ones, is they would actually be good for mixing paint. But to be fair, like compared to some of the brushes that were available when I was a kid, these are way better. And if you guys saw my Jot watercolor brush review, these are way better than those two. Those are terrible. How is this different from a normal watercolor pencil? It's just their creative studio line is aimed kind of at students and hobbyists who want nice art supplies but are not ready to commit to something that's really expensive. So it's not necessarily different from some of the other watercolor pencils on the market. It's just their version of a watercolor pencil. I think they are now, okay, I've tried quite a few watercolor pencils and there's a lot of them I don't like. I really don't like the Derwent watercolor pencils. I way prefer their Inktense watercolor pencils because a lot of watercolor pencils on the market are not really pigmented once you add water to them. These do seem to have more pigment than some of the other brands I've tried. But is this like this is gonna change my life forever? I already own watercolor pencils, but these are so much better than everything else I own. That's gonna kind of depend on what you already have. That's true. And I think it's important for us to demonstrate to them that it can be done, because a lot of like what's being shown on YouTube, and I'm guilty of it myself, is very expensive art supplies and telling people you kind of need these art supplies in order to make something good. But you can make something good with very affordable art supplies. You just need to know a few additional tricks. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out. Please stay. This is still wet, so I'm going to put it aside for a little bit, but that was the Goldfaber Aqua and the Goldfaber, and I'm going to say it every single different way because I will be right at some point, the Goldfaber color pencils. They both come in nice tin boxes that have a bit of a matte finish on them, so they actually feel really good to hold, and they are available in 12, 24, 36, and 48 pencils. This was swatched on the Faber-Castell Red Label watercolor pad, which is surprisingly good. I'm impressed with it for what it is and for what it costs. I think it's a really good option. And we did our swatching with one of the Faber-Castell soft grip synthetic, very cute, very colorful watercolor pencils. Move this for a moment. Oh my goodness, sorry. My weird dye-based art has dried, mostly. Not all of it, but mostly. This is the paper they sent with it. It has a texture to it. It's kind of like that fake linen texture that some watercolor papers have. Some people like it, some people don't. So I thought it would be fun to frame one of these using like, you know, like finishing up with the kit. Oh wait, I feel like I missed something. Oh yeah, for sure. My point wasn't like to slam other people for like using expensive art supplies, because I do it too. I like nice art supplies. I just want to caveat, I recognize that I have younger viewers, because sometimes they take my classes in person and I'm really surprised by how young they are. And I don't want to push the need or the thought that you have to have the most expensive, the best of everything when you're just getting started. Like practicing and learning with student grade, with children's grade, with whatever you can afford and whatever you have access to, that is a great way to learn how to draw, to learn how to handle materials. And I genuinely feel like using materials that take some additional knowledge, additional techniques, additional time to learn how to use, it's going to make you a stronger artist, because it's going to teach you how to problem solve later on. So like the Crayola tests I've done for years, those have made me a better watercolor artist, because I have to fight those Crayolas to get what I want out of them. And it makes using nice materials so much easier. So that's all I was really trying to say with that. Like, I'm not trying to slam people for using nice art supplies. I think it's great if we can afford it, if we have access to it, but nice art supplies are also often kind of toxic. And that's something else that, you know, as adults who are presenting this material to younger people, we need to kind of look out for them for. All right, so what I thought was really cute about this kit, other than like the beaker and the mortar and pestle and stuff, is they want us to frame it, and they have little foam feeties that go on each of the four corners. Okay, I just wanted to make it clear. Sometimes I didn't think you thought that, but sometimes YouTube can get, you know, like people will not, things don't come across properly, and then people don't always ask, and then things get taken way out of how they're meant. Yeah, for sure. I do a lot of my swatches and demonstrations on cotton rag watercolor paper. It's really expensive doing it like that. I used to do it on cellulose, but I find that paints behave a lot better on cotton rag. Like, you can use, so if you want to be cheap, you can be cheap with one thing. You can be cheap with your paper, you can be cheap with your paints. Because cotton rag paper will forgive a lot of paint sins, and nice watercolors will be beautiful even on cheap papers. Like, I paint my Cara pages on Canson Montball, which is a cellulose paper, and it's not particularly expensive. And that's why I paint my Cara pages on that, because I can afford it. Like I can afford to paint hundreds of comic pages on that paper. I couldn't afford to do that on oranges. Okay, this is where I'm gonna, actually, we're gonna do it the other way. Which cheap paper are you using? My personal cheap paper favorite for right now is the Blick Premier Cotton Rag, but I also like Fluid 100. Beautiful art. I really like Fluid 100 cotton rag paper as well, and Legion Stonehenge Aqua. Their cold press and their hot press are both great. I'm gonna make Joseph put this in his cubicle. Oh, I should have signed it. Oh. Too bad. I wish I had like good handwriting because I would do like a big signature across it, like, you know, like Hollywood handwriting, but I don't. My handwriting looks like I'm very young. Yeah, I like that they included these cute little frames, these cute little hangers. Like, putting your art on the fridge is definitely special, but like having a little frame that you can put it in and then you can hang it is even more special. And on that note, Dollar Tree and Walmart have really cheap, sturdy little frames that it's perfect for like small pieces of kids' art, and it can make it look really special and feel really special. My mom did not frame any of my childhood art, and I mean, she still has it, so we could, but I can't tell you like how special that would have felt if I had my art framed. So my art's framed now, guys. Campa. I'll look into that. I'm always interested in like decent, affordable cotton rag papers. Like Shizen, if you get in the big pre-cut stacks, like this stack this thick, it's actually pretty affordable. Okay, so that is it for tonight. We took a look at, I need to clean up a little bit more so we actually have room for all this. One of them is still kind of wet, so it's like getting all over me. Okay, we do need to like caveat. There is a bottom level to bad. Canson XL is not great. I like it. I would not use anything cheaper than Canson XL generally, because I'm not gonna get what I want out of it at all. All right, have a good evening, Jill. Thank you for hanging out for such a long time. I really appreciate it. Your company was much enjoyed. So we took a look at the Faber-Castell black paper sketch pad. We took a look at the Faber-Castell watercolor pad. I actually kind of like it. We took a look at the Faber-Castell Goldfaber color pencils and FaberAqua watercolor pencils. We took a look, I'm not going to put the whole kit on camera, but I'll put a little bit of the kit on camera. We took a look at the Faber-Castell Fizzy paint, which I had such high expectations for, and I do still think it's fun, but there are other things I'd love to see from it, and I talked about that earlier in the video. We took a look at the Faber-Castell Red Line oil pastels. These were fun. These were cute. They were very satisfying to use. And we even did a little doodle of a sunflower with them. We also took a look at the soft grip paintbrushes. And let's see, I think that's about it. We did some swatching, and these are still wet. I'm still waiting on these to finish drying. And we even made a beautiful, one-of-a-kind piece of art using the Faber-Castell Fizzy watercolors. So I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me during the stream, keeping me company, asking me questions, and just generally being fun to hang out with and cool. I greatly enjoyed your company. Hi, Ink. Hi, good evening. I can't believe we went on for 3 hours and 17 minutes, and yet part of me knows in my soul that that is indeed what happened. I still have more of the Faber-Castell goodies to go through. I'm not going to do those tonight. 3 hours is a significant chunk of time. And I don't think I can ask any more time of y'all or any more time of myself. So we will table that for another evening. Some of these things I'm going to send on over to a good, loving home where I know the kids who live there are really going to be excited to play with them and get a chance to have them and use them. So I'm really happy that I can pass some of these along. Some of these I'm going to hold on to for further testing, and then I may rehome or I may decide to keep them for myself. I'm just trying really hard this year not to be an art supply museum and just be the passageway through which the art supplies travel through. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, reading back to chat just a little bit. The XL, okay, the XL is definitely not as nice as Montval. Montval handles better than XL. But what I like about XL is I can get it at Walmart, I can get it at Michael's, I can get it at Blick, I can get it at Plaza. I don't buy XL like all, you know, it's not like the only one I use, but I teach a lot of classes, and having some cheap papers for people to experiment on is really helpful. Also with the XL, it'll run through my printer, the Montval will as well. So it can be good for like spot ink illustrations, that kind of stuff as well. So like, I'm not like recommending it over other papers. I'm saying that's the cheapest I will usually go. Is there a music festival going on? Must be, right? Playing music in the background. That was a tip another streamer gave me. Because if there isn't music, sometimes it's hard to tell whether or not the stream timed out. So it's like a good little audio cue. And as for my opinions on Faber-Castell, I can kind of give you the super quick synopsis before we say goodnight. So a lot of what I took a look at today is their red line stuff, which is aimed at a younger audience. So kids, very beginner artists, that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun things, but it's not necessarily what an adult would be buying if they were buying art supplies. Also took a look at the Faber-Castell Pitt pins. This is one of their lettering sets. I'm sure you're an ink guy, so I'm sure you're familiar with Pitt pins. So mostly today we took a look at stuff aimed at younger artists. The only things we really took a look at today that are aimed more at adults are the Goldfaber color pencils and the Goldfaber Aqua watercolor pencils and the Pitt pins. So the Pitt pins, I think if I had allowed them to dry for 24 hours straight, they would be fairly alcohol marker resistant and fairly waterproof, which I'd always thought they weren't marker resistant for some reason. So this kind of opens up a lot of opportunity for me and what I would ink with, because they have a really large range of the colored brush pens. I have a lot of colors in there, so that could be great for colored liner or mixed media art. Sorry about that. The Goldfaber line is kind of one of their newer lines. It's part of the Creative Studio quality line, and this is aimed, I would call it like hobbyist plus. The watercolor pencils were decently good. I liked using them. I thought they were decently pigmented. They reactivated quickly. They were buttery to put down. They weren't chalky. They weren't overly dusty. So I'm pretty happy with the watercolor pencils, and I liked the color pencils as well. They were fairly buttery. Definitely softer than a Prismacolor or the Spectrum Noir color pencils. Maybe a little bit harder than Polychromos or the Derwent Color Soft color pencils, but they're like a nice middle ground and enjoyable to use. And I kind of feel like they're meant to be used together, or they can be used together. So that's probably going to be how I run the field tests when I do these. So I think that about covers the gamut. And if you have any specific questions about any of these particular products that we talked about tonight, just let me know. I'm happy to revisit them with you. But I am going to rehome the Fizzy watercolors and the oil pastels, just because I know a lot of younger artists who would really love these. So I think it's unfair for me to keep them and hoard them when somebody else could have them. I believe that. Like, XL doesn't have quite the same amount of tooth. It doesn't take as many layers as well. Colors are a little bit chalkier. It definitely warps more than the Canson Mont Ball. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, like I try to educate people about how like the oils on our hands can be destructive to artist products, and people look at me like I'm either crazy or like, "Oh, you must be dirty." And it's like you can be very clean and it can still be a problem. That's why I try to keep my hands clean. I try to keep them off my face. I try to keep them out of my hair if I'm doing arty stuff, because that's just how it goes. All right, so I think that about covers it for tonight. I'm gonna update the description with everything we reviewed and prices and links and all that kind of important information. And hopefully I will see you guys again really soon. I don't yet know what is planned for next Friday's Power Hour. I may do a premiere with some of my Japan trip videos because I have an open house and a class I'm doing on Saturday. So it's gonna be a really busy day. All right, thank you guys so much. Bye, y'all. Have a good evening. Get some sleep. Get plenty of rest. Drink plenty of water. Eat delicious things.